Did you see Russ the other night? 35, 21, and 14.
The Russ slander will not be tolerated. I mean, at some point, you just have to sit back and just be in awe. I mean, I know people are always going to say stat padding or he's stat hunting, whatever. I mean, first of all, he did it in a win.
Right.
And they beat a good, indie team. But what he's able to do to step up in Brad Beal's absence, Brad missed that game, and for him to come in and I don't want to say single-handedly because he did have 21 assists, so somebody has to finish those assists. Yeah. But nonetheless, I mean, that is just an incredible. I just don't think he gets nearly the appreciation that he really deserves.
That is incredible. 35 and 21 assists. If all 21 of those assists are for twos, which they certainly weren't, that's accounting for 77 points. And it surely was more than that. And then you add 14 rebounds in there. It's remarkable.
No, he's been doing it for so long too, which makes it so impressive is just the longevity. And he does it everywhere he goes. I mean, even last year, it was one of his better, more impressive seasons from a statistical standpoint, just based off of efficiency. And everyone seems to think that he's done and he's washed up. I know there's always going to be people that are going to say, well, until he does it where they win. But the reality is, I mean, he's been on really good teams as well. I think the misconception of pinning it on one player just because they haven't been able to get it done from a championship perspective. It takes so much more than that. Obviously, LeBron is maybe a little bit of an exception. But even LeBron's teams, you see like his first year in LA versus he needed an AD around him. But it's just incredible what he's been able to do at such a high level for such a long time.
Is Russell Westbrook overlooked and disrespected by the media and fans?
He's disrespected, absolutely. And it's been that way basically his entire career. When he was shining with OKC, we blamed him for getting in Kevin Durant's way. Who is this guy that has the nerve to be taking as many or more shots than Kevin Durant? Get out of the way and give KD the ball. And then all of a sudden, I look at the stat sheet, they both have 30. They both have 40. And there was a time one of them had 50 and the other one had 40. And then KD left. And then Russell averaged a triple-double and won MVP. And then over the last couple of years, he's played for a couple of teams. And usually you don't see MVPs play for multiple teams in consecutive seasons. So when he was healthy in Houston, playing small ball, he was still putting up big numbers. He got injured, played hurt, and I told you at the beginning of the year, I saw an interview where he said he's basically felt like he's playing on one leg. Here's what makes Russell polarizing. He's that guy that you say all of the cliches for, that you want to go hard all of the time. You don't want fraternizing with the opponent, and you want to compete on every possession like it's his last. Usually that's not the point guard though, or the primary ball handler. Usually that's a wing or that's a big, but he has that mentality. So the first 2 minutes of the game or the final 2 minutes of the game, it seems like Russell is playing like they're not keeping score because he's gonna attack the exact same way. And that's what makes him polarizing to so many people. But he's still a top 15 player in the game, and I'm glad he's still putting up big-time numbers.
Russell Westbrook, we all want to see him in that championship room. So the numbers that we see him putting up every night, while they are impressive, they are historical, we ask, okay, can you get to the next level in terms of being a champion in this arena? And a lot of superstars don't make it to that next level of being champions in this arena. It is a very difficult path. Now, what some superstars have done is they've demanded more from their coaches, from their general managers, from their teams to make sure that they have the right support system. If Russell Westbrook is guilty of anything, it's not being demanding of his coaching staff, of the organization that he's playing for, to say, hey, I want more. As an MVP caliber talent player, you should be demanding MVP talented coaching. You look at the best players who have ever played in our league, most of them have experienced and had great Hall of Fame coaches. So, Stephen A., you can't throw this all on Westbrook. You have to move over to that bench and look at who he's been playing for the last 8-9 years also. And said that he's a champion outside of the arena, which we all agree with. Now, inside of the arena, the critique that we all have of him is that, hey, championships matter. Winning matters. Numbers are great statistically for the video games. They're great in terms of negotiation. But when it's time to win, you get judged by, do you win championships? Hey, Chris Paul is under the same type of pressure right now that Westbrook is under, and Chris Paul has been under this pressure for a number of years. He's got numbers, but does he have rings? Okay, and we've demanded, because Chris Paul has talent that should, equate to rings. Okay, we've said Chris should have won a ring at some point in time. Westbrook is under the same type of pressure. Heavy critique comes with what we do inside the arena. And when you are a max player and you are the driver of the bus, your job and your responsibility is to deliver that championship. And if you don't have the support pieces around you, a la like LeBron James figured out early in his career, and he said, I don't have enough in Cleveland, so I have to go to the school of winning, the Miami Heat, and learn from Pat Riley and graduate from that academy, take my knowledge from that academy, bring it back to Cleveland and say, this is how we do it. Westbrook has not been that defiant when it comes to searching out championship rings.